Greetings there, fellow scouts. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Space Haven. Episode 4, Obtaining the Pathfinder Beacon. At some point, it might not be unreasonable to ditch one of our builder pods, and to get a minor pod, a second minor pod. I'll poll you guys on that. Should I ditch a build pod for a mine pod? Now, unfortunately, you can't actually salvage any of these pods. So if I ditched our mining pod, or our building pod, we wouldn't get refunded. But, like, I didn't technically pay for it at the start. If you find the Garden of Eden, burn it, he says. Yep. Well, okay, heretic. It's kind of a nutty thing to say. Oh, the other thing I wanted to check is, do you have raw chemicals? I don't think they did. No, they don't. Because in order to get chem refining, we need that, but nope. That's a big asteroid. The other thing is their point defense is also firing on these asteroids, and I can collect the resources because there's no like dibs for resources. So I'm collecting the resources that they're producing, which is fun. Oh, grow. Okay, so root vegetable that just got sown, these 1%, 2%, 2%. Let's grow fruit instead. So we'll have one for fruit, one for root vegetables, and one for nuts and seeds. Once he levels up a little bit more. Alright, how's research going? Slow. There we go. So now we have some fruits growing, at least. And you do want me to do a ditch. So this one's a mine pod, build pod, and then this one will abandon. And then build another mine pod. Which I don't have the materials for at the moment. But yeah, so here's an abandoned builder pod that we got rid of. I'm also going to make the decision to name the pods for funsies, because why not? So, raffle timer's above my head. And at the end of the raffle timer, I'll name the shuttle in the pods. After you all. Or whoever wins. And I'm checking continuous off for this so that I can switch it to fruit. Glitch is needed over there, but once he's there, this is break hour. How's the mining? So 1 basic ore, 2 basic ore, 1 ore, and or 1 exotic, 3 basic. Doing a pretty good job. And what's happening in this ore is it's being processed in the ore processor here. The ore processor just takes the raw ore and produces materials out of it, which we'll see working over time. Ooh, that impacted and broke a wall. And damaged our shuttle bay. Alright, we are just about done mining. There's 2 more basic ore left. And then we'll bounce on out of here. And find somewhere cooler to be. Now, the other mining pod, I'm going to need more infra to build, and we're out of it for the moment, but I'll find it, I'm sure, in a derelict or something. Okay, as far as I can tell, we are all spooled up. There is some basic ore to collect, so we'll grab the basic ore from the asteroid we blew up, and then get out of here. Yoink. And done. Okay, let's spool up and bounce. Red Panda, thank you for the resub. Why am I not getting any of my alert noises? So weird. So ultimately we want to get to about here, so I'm going to have to hop through this system. I'm not going to stop here because there's really no points of interest. This is where the Exodus fleet is, but I don't have any prestige yet, so I don't have any way to spend it. I don't really need to be at a farming station, to be honest. So I'm just going to go jump twice over to the talk to the former Pathfinder zone and drop out here, park myself next to the asteroid, and then there's an asteroid base here, a leisure station, I think, where we talk to the ex-Pathfinder in order to figure out where he left the beacon. Which we'll do with Glitch once Glitch rests, because I don't need Glitch falling asleep on a foreign station. Yeah, no, that my alerts... Hold on, maybe I'll just restart my software. What is going on? Why is it silent? I'll have to troubleshoot it after the stream's over. So Composter got done. Awesome. And we'll go to the power capacity node. The other thing I could do is to buy some of the raw chem from this trade station if they have it. They have a flamethrower. No, I don't have any chem. Okay, that's fine. So, in the resources for... we need even more infra scrap. But, here's the composter, and I'll stick it... there. Kind of tucked away. I don't have the materials for it, which is fine. I'll get them over time. I wonder if my raffle timer alert noises are even going to go off in 20 seconds. Yeah, I get all green lights for my streaming software. It's like, oh, it's running. It's like, no, it's not. I don't hear any of the cheers from Rylus or Stochastic Turtle or any of that. You're lying to me. All right, shuttle is the major mildew. The minor pod is the quack. And the builder pod is the bloody death. Oh god. Alright, cool. I really hope that does not become a prediction there or something. Okay, we got a micro breach. Stupid asteroids. One of the reasons to invest in shields pretty early on, not that I have done that yet, is it will help with like mitigating micro breaches and other kind of annoyances. So that's pretty high up on the list of things to get, but I still want to get solar power first, I think. Oh, they're just reminding me they have a zero tolerance for justice. Cool. Do you have trade, though? You've got cheap artificial meat. You want my fruit. But no, you really have anything worth trading. Okay. I did mention, maybe I won't send Glitch, because Glitch is kind of busy. So, Marauder, I'm going to draft you. Have you gotten to the pod? And we are going to go visit the leisure station to go make contact with the ex-Pathfinder. Again, a little reminder about the story. The Exodus fleet has a bunch of refugees from the apocalyptic Earth, and they need to help find a new Eden. And the Pathfinder that they had employed crashed his ship like an idiot. So we're talking to the idiot to ask him where he left his beacon. That is like a sort of transponder for the Exodus fleet. But maybe, Marauder, wait until he's done with the toilet, because I don't think you're going to make any friends if you walk in on him and be like, where's your beacon? And Saul's like, dude, I'm on the can. You find the former Pathfinder wandering around the station in a drunken daze. Hi, do I know you? I've been looking for you. Sheridan sent me. You introduce yourself. Oh yeah, Sheridan. So you found me. What now? I wish to become a Pathfinder. Sheridan said the fleet needs a Pathfinder, so we signed up. But we need your old beacon. Oh, right. That beaky thingy. That's your funeral. And that's when I ran to the shuttle and got out of there. Damn rogue robots were tearing holes in the hull, last I saw. Anyway, if you're still going to go through the whole Pathfinder thing, I got the coordinates to the ship right here. And Pathfinder beacon should still be there if the bots haven't scrapped it yet. Thanks. Take care of yourself, drunk idiot. So we need to go to Zeta Messier Point. And this got completed. And our reward was 4 prestige. And we're going to take it on the Yoda. Done. All right. Marauder. So all of the, like, things to pick up here, if you're wondering, because this is like an owned station, would super piss off the people that own it, right? So I'm not going to, like, steal their medical supplies or anything, because, you know, I'm not a thief. And if I went through with it, it would warn me that I would be angering their faction and yada, yada, yada. Yep, so we're going to push off from here. Now, there are other people to potentially talk to here. Oh, draft, like Sable, who, as you can see, is up to no good, let's say. But my plan is just to go home and seek out that beacon, because there's really not much for me to do here other than to mine up like 3 more basic ore, so not a good reason to stay. Oh, I did the laser station. So in order to get the composter, I need 2 infra and 1 tech block. Do you guys have that? You've got the infra, but not the tech. Okay, I'm gonna hold off. We're almost done mining. Alright, so taking a look at the current priority for missions. Oops, misclick. We needed to go to the Zeta Messier Point, which is like north, let's say. I know it's north is an arbitrary direction. In order to retrieve the beacon. Alright, is everyone ready to spool up? I think we are. Bell, thank you for the resub. Well, I hope they sobered up eventually. For now, you have the coordinates, so all you need to do is to seek out the HSS Wicked Bird and recover that beacon. Pathfinder, I am Colonel Estra Mariscu? Sorry, I don't know. The fleet's head of security. From the sound of it, there are robots aboard the Wicked Bird, so I advise you to arm yourself and be prepared to encounter hostiles. Good hunting. Indeed. Thank you, Colonel. Oh, and Pathfinder, you're welcome to salvage the Wicked Bird and everything you find aboard it. Keep an eye out for surviving crew in hyperspace. 2. Good luck. So, current goal: to acquire the Pathfinder beacon from the Wicked Bird in the Zeta Messier Point, and then to return to the Exodus fleet in the current star system. And we're going to choose Prestige again. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually rendezvous with the Exodus fleet right now, and I am going to drop out. Ooh, there's like items in here. Yeah, let's take free stuff. I like free stuff. energy rods and hyperfuel, rubble, which turns into steel. There we go. Free stuff. The reason I'm dropping out is to see if I could buy anything that I need. So they sell cheap energy rods, but I already have a lot. They are really wanting carbon, which I can part with. Because they're a farming station, they need carbon to grow. So yeah, it's in high demand. And they do have 2 infra block and a tech block for us to buy, which seems reasonable as well. I'm also going to sell a few of the soft blocks we have, because I don't need that many. I don't have like a lot of furniture I want to build or anything like that. So that's a pretty good trade right there. And then do they have any chem? No, they don't have any chem, because if they did, they would turn that into fertilizer. So, accept. And this farming station is offering us a mission to deliver cargo to somewhere else that isn't where my quest is directing me to, so I'm going to ignore that. And this is, again, another super hot zone, so our ship is cooking a bit. Maybe we can buy chems off of the military alliance, we'll see. That would be ideal. But people are about 80 happy, which is like quite. So I'm doing something right. Glitch, what is your botany skill now? You're at 4. What are you exactly, actually? Skills, you are at 4, almost 5, actually. Very almost 5. Cool. So that's going to allow us to start growing a little bit of everything. Nuts and seeds. Alright, compost is going in. So, I am going to infinitely, continuously compost biomatter, which turns into coal or carbon, fertilizer, and water. And then I'm also going to make the decision to compost monster meat. Crawler corpse. Well, I'm going to hold off on the crawler corpses for reasons. But also compost the alien parasite corpse that's been like on our floor for a while, because I don't need it on our floor. So the reason why I didn't do the crawler corpses is there is research related to that stuff. So if you take a look at crawlers, you can unlock, through the dissection of crawler corpses, you can unlock research related to crawlers. And it's not that I necessarily want to then eventually understand how to make the illegal alien enzyme, which is kind of like bug crack, if you will. It's a drug that gives you a lot of energy and boosts your mood. So like, I don't know, bug caffeine. But it's illegal. I just want the research. I'm not going to be making it. It's a personal, like, I like to research stuff. So I'm holding on to the corpses for that reason. Military people, what do you got? You got monster meat. Carbon. You know, I could probably buy carbon from them and then sell it to the farm station. Which is maybe not a bad idea. And they want root vegetables, which I have a whole bunch of. So I'll sell 3 root vegetables for their carbon. Works for me. So we are producing fertilizer technically now. So the new priority is to invest in solar and get the beacon. And all right, we're gaining fruit, we're gaining root vegetables. I don't have nuts and seeds yet. So we're gonna have like kind of a incomplete diet, but that's fine. And we made the deal. So the carbon I just bought, let's see if we can't flip it back to the farmers, because they're paying, well, I barely make a profit. But yeah, we can sell 2 carbon to them, that's fine. More coin. The other thing I wanted to do is we have prestige points for the Exodus fleet. And I could spend it. Oh god, why am I blanking on how to spend it? God, I don't do it often enough. Where was that again? I forget how to spend X's fleet prestige. Oh, a hydrate. Cheers. From the system view? Okay. I thought it was. Exodus, where are you? Is it because I don't have the beacon yet? I don't think it is. I think you're able to spend your prestige whenever you want. Click the symbol under quests. Oh, I don't think I'm allowed. I think it's too early for me to do that, though. That's my conjecture, because I'm, like, missing buttons. Maybe I'm wrong. The other thing is, I wouldn't mind Glitch getting a little bit of backup for botany. So I'm going to say Jazz also does it as well. Because unattended plants have growth speed penalties. So I'd rather have someone that is not super skilled doing it than no one doing it. So all the trade is done. The only thing I didn't pick up is human meat, which, like, yeah, obviously. And let's jump. Have I? Did I get this derelict? I think I did. So I'm just going to keep moving towards the zone. I don't think I got this derelict, though. Can you compost human meat? Oh yeah, I definitely got this derelict. You could, but for the reasons already stated in the details about the series, I won't be. Alright. There's really nothing here other than us getting bombarded by asteroids. Same with there. So, I guess this is our first stop. It has raw chemicals, though, to mine, so that's good. And it has a derelict. Finally, some chemicals. And some power. Like it. And a pretty big derelict. Oh, this is the Wicked Bird. Perfect. So this is exactly where we want to be. I love when that works out. So in the morning, we'll, there's even some, like, space nuts. But that's pretty much in the Wicked Bird, so I'm not going to get that just yet. So we'll start off with the mining, and that's going to open up the opportunity for chem refining, which is going to be kind of nice, in order to be able to make our own fertilizer in mass. Because once you run out of fertilizer, you cannot grow anymore. Like, the plants require fertilizer. It isn't a bonus, it is a necessity. Which is kind of a big deal, because if you stop growing food, you will starve pretty quickly. Dang it. Stupid asteroid literally hit our power generator. Oof. Well, that means that the chem refinery is now a thing that we can do again. So now that we're pulling chems back to the ship, I'm going to boost that up to the top of the list, because we have 4 raw chemicals to be able to research and experiment with. Are there any options for food? Well, you can buy it. You can be a full-on cannibal and like butcher pirates and anyone that wants to fight you. You could eat bugs. You can make algae paste, like a nutrient paste. So yeah, there's a lot of options for food, but I'm going for the one that doesn't piss everyone off, which is grow food and food that isn't like violating galactic laws. Alright, Jazz is pulling the night shift against the asteroids. God, he's just having to sit on that poor operations panel to keep us from being struck by asteroids. Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah, the goal is to pretty much grab everything that isn't on fire or patrolled by death squads, I will add. Because that's another important one. Alright, Glitch, where are you at now in terms of skills? You're Botany 5. Okay, so on this bench, we are not going to do continuous grows. And then once these are done, I'll switch those over to nuts and seeds. So we'll have fruits, root, and seeds. One of each. Oh god, that's gonna strike. Taking a look. There is not, like, temperature issues with the zone, so it's a lot easier to stay temperate. Power is fine. Oxygen's fine. CO2 is fine. In fact, CO2 is even higher outside of the farm than inside. Venting is fine. I'm just checking up everything. Leisure for sleep, and okay. Yeah, it all looks good. No real issues. So as far as schedules, when there's incoming asteroids, the operations console becomes forced. So it isn't... You can schedule people to be covering it, but ultimately, like, you're gonna get asteroid impacts. One way to avoid it, however, if you don't want to have to man the operations console, is to get ship shields and just to know your ship shields will like mitigate a few strikes. And then your ship shields are like powered up by people sitting on the consoles. So once we have ship shields, we don't necessarily need to go into emergency mode every time there's asteroid strikes incoming. But essentially you need your point defense turrets operated by a person, which is why the operations panel becomes manned during times of incoming strikes, so that you can shoot them down. Because otherwise, you end up with a fire. Yay, fire! So, we got hit by fire. It blew up a wall, it punched a hole in the floor, and it set this terminal on fire. And what's going to end up happening is these doors will vent. And will... Eventually, when the doors vent out, the gas scrubber over here will scrub the smoke out from the environment. So if we open up the overlay here, for smoke, there's obviously a high degree of smoke in this, but it will dissipate and get scrubbed by the scrubber over here over time. And because the farm is on its own sort of like, it's hermetically sealed for all intents and purposes, it will not get, you know, polluted by the strike. But that's essentially what will happen if you do not clear it. And if we wanted to put another gas scrubber in there, I would need another infra block. So it's not necessarily a bad idea to have its own separate gas scrubber in different sections of the ship. I literally can't afford it right now, so it's kind of moot. And yes, Jazz sleeping next to the blown out wall. Indeed. Now, I could assign someone to construct it, like Ochirat. Force him to go build it, which is not a bad idea. And then, there's no path found to this one. So I'm going to actually dismantle this wall so we can rebuild that one because of pathing issues. So, Ocherat, please handle. So this isn't a shared barracks. And there we go. Getting also additional point events will help to shoot down them faster, too. You can solve it both ways. But yeah, my crewmen have, they're tired. It's okay. They'll survive. Oh god. More holes, more walls, more broken. At least it's coming in not towards our farm. Our farm's facing away from it, which is a small mercy. So we're already done with all the mining. So the plan is to try to find a window where we can board the Wicked Bird tomorrow so that we can make progress and get out of this meteorite strike zone. Because I don't have shields to be able to make it to deal with easier. Which means, I would say, a not bad idea is the shield console and shield generator. Well, the shield console will give you a small ship generator, which is like basic shield, which is enough for like a few strikes, occasional strikes. It's not going to hold up against like ship weapons very well, but it will be fine for the occasional asteroid. Unless it's one of those like mega asteroids cluster that you get hit with every now and then, like these guys. Where, you know, you shoot down one and there's still two more, right? We could move to the other side of the ship, but like it still can pass over the ship and hit us, so it will protect us a little bit, but not perfectly. Now, if this ship was active, however, with its own point defense raised, that would help. Because any asteroids will be shot down by the ship that intercepts it. But there's no other ships here, so it's kind of moot. Alright, Jazz, I'm going to have you sit this one out because you're tired. Actually, you know what? I'm going to draft you... There's more guns, because we know it's robots, and robots are a little bit harder to, like, min-max. So, this is going to be a short docking. We're not going to be here for very long. Just an initial first contact. Alright, Glitch, you're the doctor, so maybe you shouldn't be in front. Where'd that little robot go? There's a lot of infra scrap on this ship. This ship has a lot of infrastructure still, which is essentially what infrascrap is. Oh, there we go. And a lot of our people are about to fall asleep, so once we're done clearing this threat... Marauder got shot, but I'll have them return. We don't necessarily need to clear it on first go. Do it in stages is fine. Oh boy, I'm glad I got back when I did, because... we just got punched hard. Now, it's warning me that the oxygen levels are decreasing, but that's just because I had a bunch of holes in it. It will go back up. We don't really need a second oxygen generator. It's just we had breaches. So it's fine, in other words. Okay, I'm going to change their schedules a little bit. I'm going to say another hour of free time rather than work time. And then another hour of sleep instead of work. by default. So that everyone gets a little bit more rest, because they're all exhausted. And I wouldn't mind them recovering their energy, because as I warned, as soon as they run out of energy, they just like collapse on the floor and they're useless. And I'd like to avoid that if possible. They seem to have been taking a personal offense to our ship's existence. Yep. Yes, it has. It is a nuisance for sure. Just the way it goes. So come morning, we will return back to the Wicked Bird and continue to clear it out. We're probably about half done, if I was to guess, with it. So as long as I can avoid getting blown up by guns, we'll be good. And we're finally starting to harvest this stuff. So bed 2 going to be nuts and seeds, and this will all change over to nuts and seeds once it's harvested. Alright, let's send the Major Mildew over here. Switching it up. So we have hypersleep pods, but they were blocking the way, so we have to go in the other way that we originally went. Also note that I am without... So here's the beacon, the Pathfinder beacon. I am without oxygen nearby. Outstanding work! You found the beacon. You've done well so far. Now you may salvage the derelict at your own pace, and once you have done, come and visit us, and we can talk once more. We will await you at the Exodus fleet. Once you jump into hyperspace, you will find us by checking the information on the blue mission objective notification. Well, it seems your slightly used beacon is still working just fine, so we're off to a good start. Now, let's go over how to use it. This is why I couldn't find the thing from before. The fleet's Chief of Logistics, Rufus Wright, has a request that's perfect for showing you the ropes. Rufus, nice to meet you, Pathfinder. One thing the beacon does for you is it lets you see how the Exodus fleet is doing for various resources. The beacon also allows you to signal the Exodus fleet to jump to your current location. If you happen to stumble on any larger resource spots, you can give us a signal and we'll jump to you and get on with mining what we need. So the Exodus fleet will have like status effects of like, hey, we have a boon of food, or we really need minerals, or we need a nebula gas cloud, or we've been recently attacked by robots and we need medical supplies. And you'll have procedurally generated radiant sort of like quests to be able to aid the fleet. For now, feel free to venture out and we'll contact you again once the time is right. So there we go. Got our prestige. And let's continue clearing the floor here. Credits and another data log. Let's top up our oxygen if there's oxygen. Yep, there was oxygen in there. Good. And we're done. Okay, so we're actually, it's cleared. Perfect. Scrap, 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 scrap. All but that and scrap. Done. That's going to be a lot of stuff. And we picked up another Starfarer entry. Okay, so now it's highlighted and I can actually use it. So you can get the fleet status, which is everything is normal, so there's no crises. You can move the Exodus fleet to your location, but there's no reason for us to really have them jump here. And then we can also ask for like a huge advancement of technology, which I don't necessarily need. So I'm going to hold on to my prestige for now, but it allows you to do like a whole bunch of stuff with the Exodus fleet. Which gives you a lot of like flexibility as to how to progress You know, if you're lacking a certain resource, if you need help with research, or if you need like ship repairs, like the Exodus fleet can render all that stuff. It's great. All right, so we are nearly done with the experimental phase of chem refining, and then we can go to fertilizer chem refining, which is great. Cannot wait. And we got the beacon, so what I want to do is get solar and chem refining. Them's the goals. And I think this is a pretty typical way to approach first time in Space Haven, is like, make sure that all of the prerequisite resources, make sure that you become more self-sufficient in food, in water. Water's mostly through mining ice, in power, which would be like solar, so that you're not addicted to energium or whatever, to make it a little bit more efficient. Because once you run out of power, if you're dead in the water, you're dead in the water. But if you have a little bit of solar in systems that have suns, you can, you know, generate a fair bit of power. And then the other thing is I'd really like to get the... might even want the shields console before solar. So I'm going to say chem and shields. Invest in solar and shields. Because I'm tired of, like, getting asteroid struck. Because that can really end in catastrophe if it hits our farm. Thank you for tuning in to Space Haven, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. I am not, however, looking for feedback. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Haveners.